Welcome back. Today we're having another podcast style episode. Today we have Megan, who started with a -10 diopters and is currently down to -6 diopters. Really interesting journey. She also has a supportive optometrist, which is fantastic since you have somebody local, you have somebody to help you, you have somebody with professional measuring equipment to buy your glasses. And she also has come up with a really cool way to use clip-ons to adjust her diopters. So check out this chat we had with Megan.
My name is Megan, and I'm 40 years old, and I've been wearing glasses or contacts since I was 6. So just last year I stumbled upon one of your videos, Jake, and anyway, I have a -9 prescription, and I've had that for about 15 years. I've worn contacts for 25 years, 18 hours a day for 25 years. And the whole concept of giving my eyes a break sounded really great. Just wearing I wanted to get into wearing glasses and giving my eyes a break from contacts. And at the same time, I stumbled upon one of your videos, and it all just really resonated with me because I like to find alternative ways to heal and to be healthy, as opposed to medicine and a quick fix. And so I was really keen on what you had to say and really wanted to give it a try. So it's been about a year now, about 13 months since I watched your first video. Yeah, and it's going great.
And how far have you reduced since you started?
So these are -6. And it's not quite there yet. At night, and when I'm tired, I do need a boost, so I have other alternatives, but I'm wearing -6 most of the time.
And you started with -9?
Yeah.
And was it with contact lenses? -9 contact lenses?
Actually, -9.25 contact lenses. Yeah.
Which is actually noticeably higher because the lenses are closer to your eyes than what you would be wearing in glasses.
Yeah. Isn't it crazy?
That is crazy. And how was that with the contact lenses? Did you ever have any problems wearing those for that much of an extended period all the time?
It's what I was used to, but yeah, of course there's dry eyes and yeah, just tired. I could feel that it was wearing on my eyes. In general, I didn't have really any problems or issues, but I knew that it could happen, like retinal detachment, and things that, over the long term, it's not great to have these contacts in all the time. But I didn't really have a lot of issues. I just wanted to give my eyes a rest from the contacts.
That's a good idea. And then the first pair of reduced glasses that you bought, how many diopters were those?
So I have these glasses and I have a clip. So I asked just what would be legal to drive here in France. And so this is with the clip, it was, I wrote it down, $7.75, and then 7. So 7 and 7.75.
Okay. And then how did you manage the clip is interesting. How did you use the clip in your progression as you reduce?
It's supposed to be for sunglasses, but I can just clip it on and it'll give me the boost I need to drive or when I'm really tired. So it's just like changing glasses, another pair of glasses.
That's cool. Have you used that clip for other reductions before?
Yeah, so I'm keeping the clips and just reducing the glass, the main glasses. But I've also got a clip it's a plus clip, so I can just kind of, rather than have a bunch of pairs of glasses, keep the clips nearby. Yeah, they're really handy.
That is amazing. And actually, I have to admit that is a very uncommon solution. How did you come up with that?
I was trying these glasses on, and the is it optometrist, in French, optometrist. She suggested as a sunglasses, if you want to use that. And she said, well, would you want to put, you could put normal lenses in this frame as well. So she just had suggested it, and I thought it was a great idea.
That's amazing. And we talked about that a little bit before we started the video. And I'm super interested in, how did you stumble across a supportive optometrist, and how did you even get into this conversation of doing this?
So I went up and just took a chance and said, you know, this is really crazy and I want to try something. You're going to think I'm nuts. There's this guy, Jake, and he thinks that we can heal our eyes naturally if we just give it time in this whole process. So I kind of explained a little bit, and she's like, yeah, let's try it. She thought I was crazy. But 6 months later, when I went back, she was blown away.
Interesting.
Didn't understand.
That's really cool, though, because it's in France. I've only been to an optometrist in France twice, I have to admit, but those 2 times I didn't have an amazing experience. I think it's great that you have somebody who will help you.
I got lucky. Yeah, I think I got lucky.
And what does, is it expensive, the clips versus the glasses and the lenses?
You know, it's a little bit cheaper. Yeah, the clip. Yeah, I think it's a good alternative financially, and just it's less bulk. But yeah, it is a little bit cheaper just to have a clip.
What about the weight with the lenses?
It's a little bit heavier. So I try, you know, that's one reason why it's more incentive to not wear the clip, because it does get a little bit heavy, but it's manageable. Yeah.
That is brilliant. I love that. Like both of those, both that you have and a supportive optometrist, and that you've come up with this great solution. That's fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah. I've been lucky.
And now what's the optometrist take now that she's witnessed the reductions? Has she been selling you all the glasses since?
Yes. And she's on board. She's eager to see how far it can go if I can get down to 0, you know. And she's like, when she sees me, she's like, okay, what's in store for me today? When I walk through her doors, yeah, she's excited, and she's blown away.
That's super interesting. If you're in the Facebook group, then you see sometimes there's these reports that surprisingly often actually that optometrists are open-minded. And I think it's also great. It's great for everybody, because you're a better customer than probably most people she deals with.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, you're buying a lot of glasses, right? Like she sees your face a lot.
I'm a good client. Yeah.
So how many reductions? How many reductions since you started is that now?
So 2 more, about every 6 months. And yeah, so now I'm down to 6 and 6.5 with another clip.
Oh, that's cool. That is excellent. Yeah. That is a really nice. And then along the way, like as far as the process, was it straightforward from the beginning, or did you run into any issues? Like how did you structure this whole approach?
Well, it's kind of a lifestyle change, not only just physically getting different glasses and learning to relax and have active focus, but yeah, it's a lifestyle change, like getting outside more and getting away from the screen as much as I could. I even changed some things about my diet that are apparently good for eyes. And yeah, it's been a whole process, but the main thing for me was, getting outside and I've been looking outside now, just trying to focus on leaves on the trees, you know, going on walks every day and just being outside as much as possible. But it just happens so naturally, and I could see the progress right away, you know, after a couple of months. So it was really rewarding, and it's just like letting the process happen.
What about the initial starting point? And this is more of my own personal curiosity. When you run into this whole thing, it has to seem a little bit far-fetched, right? Like, it is a leap. Like, how was that first reduction? How was the first bit of things? Must have been a little bit blurrier and different.
Yeah, really uncomfortable, even nauseous, like walking out of there, you know, the floor is moving, and it's a terrible feeling. But I was so ready, and I wanted it. So I think that's part of it too. You really have to want it to work through that first uncomfortable feeling of not being able to see. And then just I wore the clip a lot, so it was still a major jump from 9 to 775. But just slowly trying to take the clip away, and yeah. And then even I would try to play a game, like how long could I go without putting the clip on, you know, during the day. And I noticed that every day it was just a little bit later. Like I could say, my eyes are tired, and it's later than yesterday. So it's fun.
The clip is a genius idea. It really is. I'm going to have to steal that. We'll put a little asterisk with your name as the discoverer of the clip, because while I've heard people mention it, I think, for one, I think you really need an optometrist, because you want the PD to be right, and you want the optical centers to line up properly, right? Like,
yep.
You probably wouldn't want to do that online necessarily, but having it, that gives you so much more flexibility with one pair of glasses.
Yeah, totally. And it's better than, you know, you had suggested getting some plus glasses. You know, I could sometimes, worst case, I would wear just for something really close that I was doing, you know, and it avoids having to do a cheap and not as good version of your eyes for close up too.
Yeah, because that's also true. Like, you save a fair bit of money on the expensive lenses, like the high diopter lenses. Are they quite thin ones?
The clip?
No, the index of your main glasses. Are they high?
Yeah. I mean, they're state of the art, so they're as small as they can be, as thin as they can be. But they are, quite.
That makes it a lot cheaper. I can't believe, like, the thing is, I've been at this for the last 2 decades, but it never stops. It really never stops. Like, I'm always humbled, because there's always some new idea that, like the clip, this is literally the first time I've put this all together in my head, to go, you get really high index, high quality main lenses, and then you have the clip where it's much cheaper to get lower, you can buy lower index, right? Like that half diopter.
Save the clips, you know, that's the thing. You can save it and then keep reducing, and it's really handy.
You're optometrist, and you are 2 geniuses. I love
awesome. Actually, I had a question though, because this is my question to you. You know, it was supposed to be for sunglasses, okay? And I haven't worn sunglasses now for over a year, since I started this process, because I read somewhere that, you know, your eyes don't necessarily need to have have the sun reduced. For our eyes, we can adapt. We don't need sunglasses, basically. And I wanted to see what you thought about that. Has nothing to do with myopia.
My take on sunglasses is a super simple one, which is if you'd have to squint otherwise, it's a good idea to wear sunglasses. Just like when you're at the point where you're squinting, or if you're having to close one eye, like you aren't able to look at your surroundings with your eyes properly open, then sunglasses may be a good idea. Adaptation, maybe. I feel like sometimes there's a little bit too much leaning towards, we come from nature, right? Like, I think sunglasses can be, like, especially like in places where the UV is extremely high. Like I live in Southeast Asia, sunglasses I think are often a good idea. I'm not a doctor, I can't give medical advice, but glaucoma, sometimes there's conversation what a lot of sun exposure may be contributing there. I think in a place like France, and if you have winters and if you're not doing like extreme like water sports or something, it's not a big deal either way. But I wouldn't restrict myself from using sunglasses for some kind of outdoor benefit. I do like sometimes having no glasses. There seems to be some positive correlation with some amount of UV exposure, which goes away at any point anyway, because once you put on those glasses, they all have UV coatings.
Yeah. Okay. It's all about eye health in general, right? It all goes together.
Yeah, it does. Did you have any astigmatism? You mentioned more than one diopter drop is kind of a lot, but the symptoms you described sound almost like there was other things going on from the original contact lenses to the glasses.
No, I don't have an astigmatism.
Nice. Well, that very nice. Yeah. So now you're at -6, and when is the next reduction, you think?
Probably about 5 months. It's been about a month since I've had this.
Now, do you reduce the clip at that point, or do you buy new main frame lenses?
I just reduce the main lens.
Okay.
And then I keep the clip going.
That makes sense. That is very nice. And for lifestyle changes, any other things? How is your smartphone use?
It went down for sure. Yeah. Yeah.
Did you notice any? Did you notice any correlation like between smartphone use and your experience with the reductions?
Yeah, for sure. It all goes together. And even if I start using the smartphone more, I can see that the progress slows down. It's totally apparent to me that the two go hand in hand.
Yeah. And you said lifestyle changes. Is there anything else interesting in there? And I'm asking because I get a lot of questions from people that seem kind of stuck in their box, right? And they want to improve their eyesight, but they're in the space. And sometimes like just inspiration is lacking, or ideas, or somebody going, hey, I did this. If there's anything interesting you think about your lifestyle changes that's maybe worth sharing.
Well, I cut out sugar. I cut out some things in my diet. So sugar was a main one. And I think that helps too. I started eating a lot more almonds. I cut out pepper as well. So those three main things. Other than that, yeah.
Screen and outdoor time and other like.
Screen, outdoor time, and I think it's just a change of mindset in general. Like wanting to see, wanting to improve my vision. Even silly things I would do, not really lifestyle changes, but things along this process. I would put on, I could see clearly now the rain has gone, and just believe that this process is happening and it's working, and to trust the time that it takes. And I also kind of have done a little bit of inner work, asking myself, what kinds of things in this world do I not want to see? You know, what's keeping me from seeing this world as it is without any fear, and just taking a look at those things and working through those things. So it's all kind of gone along with this process.
What do you see now, like in France? How is it with younger people and their screen use? Is it, I'm asking because like I spend a fair amount of time in Hong Kong, for example, where all public transport, all coffee shops, all restaurants, even in groups, people are all glued to their phones.
Yep, same.
Same, man.
Yeah. It's pretty shocking once you realize how detrimental it is, not only to our eyes, but to our brain, and in so many ways. But yeah, it's the same here.
Do you think we're crazy? Are we on totally the wrong track here? Again, to connect it to this, because if you're glued to the screen all day long, for one, it's very difficult to improve your eyesight. Two, you'd have to fight a big addiction first. And three, you'd have to find a life outside of screens. Like, it seems like we're really far down the stream from what's possible for people.
Yeah, and I don't think there's any way to go back as a society from smartphone use. But I think, yeah, we're going to pay for it as humans. But for myself personally, I want to try to be crazy and to go the other way to reduce smartphone use.
Yeah. I still, and the other half, because the other half of the time I live in right now, I'm in this jungle in Burma, and people can't afford, or not all people, but a lot of people can't really afford either smartphones or the data rates, because there's not that much Wi-Fi. So you still see kids playing, and you still see kids running around. And then when I travel, I leave, I go to Singapore or Bangkok or Hong Kong, it's like kids the same age, toddlers, like they have iPads in these toddler-proof cases in their cribs and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's really sad, isn't it? Like, they don't know how to jump rope or be with other kids. It's just, yeah, major issue. I agree. It's a shock.
Right, yeah, and I think it's part of the reason that I was so easygoing about this terrible off-grid jungle thing, because I have a son and he's 4 now, and I wanted him to grow up, or at least the younger age, is not addicted to screens, and made a deal with the various adult family members. I bought everybody a fancy smartphone because they all had crappy ones, but the deal was, do not bring them near the kids, right? Like, do not show the kids you playing with the phone, do not share the phone with the kids. And the kids all play outside, and I've contained it. But it feels like old people, or you know what I mean? Like talking crazy about this, the world it is today.
I feel like an old person too. Yeah. Like, I don't want to know. I don't want to be a part of it. You know, society changing, I think, in a negative way with these smartphones. It's, yeah, I feel like an old woman trying to get back to how we were as a society.
I know, and that leaves me in a weird spot. And I'm kind of going off on a little tangent here. And as we're having these conversations, I'm like, okay, everybody's making improvements. We have that figured out. But how does it affect you stepping out of the matrix in a way? You know what I mean? Like, you're having to take a step back and look at the world around you, and everybody's still attached to these stupid screens.
Well, it's not just screens, though. It can be, like I said, sugar. You know, once you're out of eating sugar, and then you look around, and it's like, oh my gosh, what is everyone doing? What are they feeding themselves? It's the same, but yeah, it's obvious to me, at least.
Yeah. I have not been able to beat the sugar, I have to admit.
It's a hard one too.
I'm close. I'm like down to, like, I'll have a coffee, one a day, and there's some sugar in the coffee, and that's it. But I can't get away. If I don't get that one thing, then I really struggle.
Yeah, it's hard. You're doing good. Don't worry.
Something. So what else? Anything else that's changed in your journey from the -9 or -9.25 to -6? That's really amazing.
Yeah.
Optical quality, visually, weight of glasses, anything that's like better now than it was?
No, just my whole life. Just because of some of the changes I've made, including being outside, that I've really had missed. Making that a priority has improved the quality of my life. But otherwise, I think I've mentioned everything.
And what would you suggest to somebody who's watching this? And I think that a lot of people watching this kind of thing are semi-undecided. Like, what would be your like in hindsight, like even if you were to tell yourself before a time where you're ready for this, like what's the main thing that would get you on this path?
Gosh, just to trust that your eyes were meant to see properly, you know. Like I believe in a God that created us and wants us to be healthy, and I think that's part of it too. Is just trusting that your eyes can be healed, and just going for it, giving it a try. Everything makes sense what you have lined out. You have so many videos, Jake, like all your videos and your blog is so much information, and I didn't read all of the information. It's so much. So I would say not to get boggled down with all of those details, and just kind of give it a try. Get the basics, and the details will come later. And even now, I still haven't watched all of the videos. But once you have the principles down, you know, these simple things, it really is worth it.
Cool. Awesome. Well, thanks so much for coming on. I really appreciate it. I know that it's possibly kind of a leap to do this sort of thing. I think it helps a lot of people. It also really helps me. So I'm very thankful that you did this and you took the time.
Jake, I want to say thank you to you for all of the hours, even getting a little emotional. It's I really appreciate it.
I'm happy to do
it. Put online, and it's free, and you're changing a lot of lives. So thank you.
All right. That was our chat with Megan. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it was useful. I hope it was helpful. If you like these kind of chats, leave a like, possibly. Comment below. Let me know if it's worth doing more of these. I have thousands of improvement emails, and I can send out requests to have chats, and hopefully more people would participate. If this is something that you think is useful in a larger scale, we could probably have hundreds of these. So let me know if you should do more. See you in the next one.
Meow, 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 meow.